Hi club members, Miss Christina here from the Bride Center. Today we are bringing you a virtual college tour of North Central Technical College where we speak with Zach. Make sure you click on the provided link afterwards to take the virtual tour of the different campuses. Have fun!
Hi, Zach.
Hi.
Thank,
Okay.
thank you so much for joining us today. I'm excited to bring this opportunity to our club members and to learn more about NTC.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me. I always appreciate opportunities to get to talk about NTC and just share some of the good things that we have going on. And this is a great opportunity. So, um, having said that, I will introduce myself in a little bit more detail. But my name is Zach Pop, and I am the director of student recruitment. So I work with a team of people we call career coaches at the college. And career coaches really are the individuals that help students once they start getting close to trying to figure out what their next step is after high school. They help those students figure out what their ideal path would be. So they spend a lot of time working with students just to kind of navigate through their interests, to talk about different college options. And I always like to tell people that, if we're working with a student and we end up finding out that they want to be in a career area that we don't offer at NTC, that is absolutely fine by us. We still want to help them get into a program. So that's just a little bit about me and my team. But I would love to jump into actually screen sharing right away and talking through some other things related to NTC, if that works.
Sounds
So,
great.
okay. So you see in my presentation?
I can, yes.
Fantastic. Well, as far as just an overview of NTC, the first thing I always like to talk about is our cost. We are a technical college, and what that means is that we are a public institution, and the benefit of that is our costs are very low. NTC, we average about $11,000 per year, and now that is an all-inclusive cost. So that includes not just tuition fees, books, and supplies, but also living expenses. And we like to kind of give people that big number so they know what to expect overall. And we source those numbers right from the U.S. Department of Education, so it's not a number we came up with. And you'll see that compared to the UWs, we're about $5,000 a year less than them, about $6,000 a year less than your average for-profit school. We're about half the cost of your average nonprofit college. What it comes out to in terms of just tuition and fees, it's about $5,000 a year for your average full-time student. So I kind of like to tell people, if you're looking at just tuition, the average associate's degree with NTC is going to be about $10,000 in tuition. So again, very, very affordable. A lot of times people ask about opportunities to live on campus. We do have student housing. It's called Timberwolf Suites. So Timberwolf Suites was built, I think it was just 2 or 3 years ago. So a very new facility. It is owned, it's not owned by NTC, but it is managed by NTC. And what's nice about that is, we get to set it up like it is set up as student housing. So, that means we can do things like have inclusive pricing. It has laundry facilities on site. There's a 24-hour fitness center. There's a lot of really nice perks because it is a dedicated student housing facility. So that, like I said, that's brand new. It's a beautiful facility, really nice rooms. There's lots of different room setup options. There's single rooms for people who want to have a room to themselves, and then there's rooms that can have as many as 4 people, or there's units that can have as many as 4 people. So it's set up very nicely, and it is very affordable. I think the most affordable option is as low as $430 a month, and again, that's all inclusive. So that includes like rent. I'm sorry, that includes heat, electricity, all the utilities. I think even the internet. So really neat option, and it's literally a 1.5-minute walk to get from the living facility to our campus.
Very convenient.
Yes, yep. We have focused a lot on transfer opportunities over the last several years. So we recognize that we serve a lot of students that have the intent to go on and get a 4-year degree or even a master's degree or higher. So we want to be able to serve those students as best as possible. So we have over 400 transfer agreements with over 50 University of Wisconsin, and private four-year universities. And this, obviously, because we have more than 400, this is not an all-inclusive list. This is just kind of a sampling of those partnerships that I have listed there. But some kind of key ones you'll see under UW-Madison, there's that second bullet point down there. It says liberal arts. That is a brand new agreement that we just established with UW-Madison. I'll talk about it a little bit more in detail later because it is pretty new and unique. But you'll see there's a lot of UW schools that we have partnerships with, and some good, really notable schools from out of the state too, like Northern Michigan University, Michigan Tech, Purdue. We just established a partnership agreement with them. And whenever we establish a transfer agreement, it's moving forward, it's always going to be a 2+2 transfer. So that means that a student who graduates from NTC and goes on to another school, they're going to start off right away with junior status at that college. That's really important for us. We don't want it to be any slower of a route for a student to start with us and then transfer on to a different college. So great opportunities for students who have the intent to go on and get a bachelor's degree. Another thing I'd like to point out is that we have just established an esports team. So this is really cool for anyone who's into gaming. So esports is really getting big. We recognize that. We see we have a lot of students who love to video game. So we actually joined NACE, and we were the first technical college in the state to become affiliated with them. So we actually have a collegiate esports team right now who they compete competitively against other colleges. So that's been really exciting for us. There's 3 games that we compete in right now: Overwatch, League of Legends, and then Rocket League. And to support those students, we built a full Esports Arena. It's beautiful. It's set up with all these different gaming stations, and there's dual monitors and there's big TVs, and it's really been a cool thing for our students to have access to.
That is really interesting.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's kind of cool. We've had some competitive matches on our campus, and some of the other colleges who have come and they've seen our esports arena, they even from really big colleges have said like, "Wow, your arena is amazing." So we kind of went all in on that because we know that it's big and students love it, and we wanted to have students an opportunity to get engaged that way. Just a few other things related to student life. We really try to support opportunities for students to get involved as much as possible. There's a lot of different clubs that are associated with the various programs. We do have intramural sports, esports, which I just mentioned, some other organizations like Phi Theta Kappa for people to get involved with. And then student employment, I always like to mention that because we know that students, it's very convenient for them to work on campus while they're going to school there. So we do have an abundance of student employment opportunities. A big one is being a campus ambassador. So this is actually a picture up on the screen of our campus ambassadors for this year. But ambassadors, they tend to be the people who give campus tours for incoming students. They work in the den. We have a student leadership center where they can be staffed to support students in there. So campus ambassador is a great opportunity for student employment, and that is available to a lot of students. So I like to mention that. Good way to make money while you're a student.
Yes.
Yeah. We also do give campus tours, and we'll be starting back up tours here real soon. So if anyone wanted to physically come to the campus, they can absolutely do that. We have a really simple tour link right on our website. I have that listed there. And I also like to mention that we do have different centers of excellence that are outside of WASA, and we also have multiple regional campuses. So this isn't even all of them here, but I did want to at least list a few. The Center of Health Science is right next to our main building in WASA, but we also have campuses that are in some of our outlying communities like Phillips, Medford Spencer, Anago, and Wittenberg. That this picture here in the far right corner, bottom right, is our Wood Technology Center of Excellence. That's a really beautiful building. It's one of the more unique, it houses one of the more unique programs that we offer in the state with our wood science program. So something I want to mention, anyone who gets to the point where they're like, hey, you know what, I want to start touring campuses or touring a campus, we highly encourage them to do that. And I think we give out a T-shirt for every single person who comes. So that's kind of a
Hey,
nice
free stuff is always nice.
right, little bonus there. Yep. So that was essentially an overview. I'm going to talk just a little bit about our programs. So at NTC, we are a technical college. So what that means is we offer up to an associate degree level of credential. We also offer technical diplomas, certificates, and apprenticeships. So typically the laddering pathway is people can earn a certificate, which then would ladder into a technical diploma, which then ladder into an associate's degree. So technical degrees are usually a year in length. Associate degrees are typically 2 years, and certificates can be anywhere from 3-week program to a half a year to some of them are maybe even up to a year. So those vary quite a bit. Apprenticeships, we also do apprenticeships, and those are, for people who are not aware, a combination of classroom learning with on-the-job learning. The unique thing with an apprenticeship is they're always sponsored by an employer. So a person would actually to establish that apprenticeship agreement, and then they would do their in-classroom learning through us. So that's what we offer in terms of credentials at NTC. And you'll see that that next bullet point down there, the next little section, I talk about credit for prior learning. For students who are in high school at this time or preparing to go into high school, one thing I always encourage them to do is just to take advantage of as many opportunities to potentially earn college credit. You know, that could be through AP classes. It could be through taking CLEP exams. That one's a little bit of a hidden secret that people don't realize, but we do award credit for people who've taken CLEP exams and have obtained certain scores. But AP classes, CLEP exams, dual credit classes are another great way to get credit for students who are in a high school that is in our district, or even outside of our district. There's opportunities through distance learning and Start College Now. So there's just an abundance of ways for people to earn college credit while they're still in high school. So much so that I almost get jealous of students now, because when I was in high school, we didn't have all that cool stuff.
Yeah.
But it's great. It's great for our students. You know, I always just encourage people to try to take advantage of those things as much as possible. If you can start off your formal college experience with already having even one class done, that's going to help you out. So I wanted to point out just a few new programs that we have for this current year that we're in. I always like to highlight because sometimes people aren't aware of this. They tend to be more aware of the things that we've done forever, but not always aware of what's new. So we have 4 new associate degrees in the current year that we're in: Automation Systems Technology, Foundations of Teacher Education. That's kind of a cool program because it actually is the first 2 years of a teaching degree. So if someone wanted to be a K-12 educator, they could do their first 2 years with us through that Foundations of Teacher Education program, and then transfer on and get their bachelor's degree and become a licensed teacher. IT, cybersecurity, that's kind of an up-and-coming area that's new this year. And then sports and recreation management for people who wanted to work in sports and rec and potentially be a manager in those areas. We have 2 new technical diplomas. Cosmetology was brand new this year. So those people who want to potentially be, a barber or hairstylist or run their own salon, that's a great opportunity there. Gas utility, construction and service, that was another new one. So that program kind of complements really well our electrical power distribution program, which we started new last year. So for people who wanted to work out on electrical lines or do gas servicing as a technician, that's an opportunity there.
Awesome.
Yeah. So just a few of our more popular programs. This is not kind of like the other list I gave with our transfer degrees. This is not an all-inclusive list. This is just a sampling of some of our more popular programs. And I guess one question that a lot of times people will ask me is, well, what's really going to give me the best opportunity to get a job? And that's a really hard question to answer because at NTC, because we're a technical college, we really have a strong focus on making sure that we're offering degrees that are relevant for the economy that we serve. We have a very strong focus on making sure that we're not putting people through programs just for the sake of having them get a degree. We want that degree to tie to a profession that is within our local economy. So I kind of like to tell people, like, you really can't make a bad choice in terms of selecting a degree with us. More likely than not, it's going to lead to a job opportunity. So
Wonderful.
yes, yeah, because I know, like, when I was in college, I had a lot of friends who had majors that I remember thinking at the time, like, hey, I wonder what type of job you'll get after you graduate with that. And sometimes they did get jobs, but a lot of times it was like, nah, that didn't work out the way I think they anticipated.
Yeah.
Um, so some new programs. So the programs that I talked about that I said were new prior, those were new in the current year that we're in. New for next year are the programs listed here. So we have 4 new associate degrees: the liberal arts transfer degree, civil engineering associate degree, human resources, and then paralegal. And then we have some new technical diplomas listed there as well: business operations, hospitality specialist, prop scout, and then supply chain specialist. So you'll see, we added what I think it was 6 new programs last year. We have 8 new ones this year. We're really trying to always stay in front of what's needed, what's going to give our students the best opportunities to get good jobs. So I think I'll be able to play this. Let me just check something here. I think I might need to adjust one thing. Oops. I'm gonna share my computer sound, and I have a real short video. If you don't mind, I would love to show it. It's only like a minute and a half, but it kind of gives an overview of our liberal arts transfer degree. Okay, well, this should work. I'm gonna skip forward here, and it should start playing. Oh, that was me. Here we go.
I'm excited about this program because it gives students here an opportunity to start that 4-year degree that maybe they weren't able to or even thinking about beforehand. So this is an opportunity for a lot of students who may not have even considered a 4-year degree before, and now they have that opportunity to start that here at NTC in North Central Wisconsin in order to get that start to their post-secondary educations.
So yeah, that video is just a brief overview of our liberal arts transfer degree. Let me go back here to my Prezi. So yeah, like Nick kind of talked about, the intent of that program is to give students a pathway to a 4-year degree where they can complete all their general education requirements with us. So we actually partnered with Madison College, who has a partnership with UW-Madison to be able to do this. And what's kind of cool about it is, like that video showed, is it gives someone a guaranteed transfer into UW-Madison as long as they complete the program and they meet the academic requirements. So that's really neat. Obviously, that'd be a much more affordable way to get a UW degree, especially if someone wanted to go on to UW-Madison. They can get their first 2 years with us. And all the classes will be at the Wausau campus or online. So through a combination of those two things, they'll never have to, for the first 2 years, they'll never have to set foot on a different campus. So that's really neat. That's very, very unique. It's brand new this year. So that is something we just started to offer, because prior, when we had students who maybe were on the fence or just weren't sure what they wanted, or if they knew that they wanted to get a bachelor's degree, we didn't have like a great program for them to just do generals with us. Now we do, and it's the same cost as all of our other programs. So again, it's very affordable. It's financial aidable, so they can use financial aid to cover those costs. So pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And as you mentioned, it's, NTC is right in Wausau, so a very short drive or move for our club members that live in Stevens Point, Clover, that kind of area. So
Exactly. Yep. Not a bad drive at all. So I know that for some students, these steps are way far off. So I won't go into this in a whole lot of detail, but sometimes people want to know, like, what are the steps to get started in college? And we try to make it really simple. The first thing I always tell people to do is to apply. And that's kind of standard, not just for us, but for almost any college. And that kind of is what will trigger us to be able to make sure that we're communicating with you. All the next steps after that is after you apply, and we know what your intent is to potentially get started in our program. About 2/3 of all of our programs are considered open access programs. So that means that there's no additional requirements that are needed beyond being obtaining a high school level credential. So that's really cool. About 1/3 of our programs do have some additional requirements that would need to be met. But for the most part, I like to tell people there's always a way. There's always a pathway. Even if, let's say you maybe struggled in science classes, but you want to get into a program that's kind of science heavy. Maybe it's, nursing, or, architectural design. Well, we still have ways to assist those students and help them get into that program through college prep classes or through tutoring. We try to support our students as much as we possibly can. So, yeah, essentially that's kind of NTC in a nutshell. I went through that kind of fast, but I think for the most part that hopefully covered a good portion of the questions and things that students would want to know about. But Christina, is there anything that I'd missed on, or you're still wondering about, or you think would be helpful for people to know?
no, I think your presentation was really interesting and full of great information, and it covered all the questions I had for today. So thank you so much for your time and for just giving us all this great information to bring back to our club members.
Oh yeah, no sweat. I appreciate it. I always like opportunities to get information out to people. So thanks for this opportunity.